The following program is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. You can request podcast topics, enjoy exclusive RPG and video content, and more. Even just $1 a month gets you gameplay episodes a week early and makes you officially cool. Just like our Trash Elite Rob and a guy from Ohio, DG, Thomas Austin Jr., Kitty Holbrook, Passion Killer 711, Destrucity, KTL, and Drake Starstorm. Greetings and salutations. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hello.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and today we are stealing letters sent to Chugs and Evil Uno of the All Elite Wrestling Arcade Podcast.
We dive into their letterbox and grabbed a big old handful, 2 fistfuls of letters. We ran away. This is what we came out with.
Yep. They are paraphrased and often slightly retailored to fit our show. Obviously, I made a lot of the background stuff because, you know, you guys didn't give me permission to share that. And it's just cruft. It was from years ago. Who knows if it even applies. I also still credit everyone who asked because that seems appropriate. Occasionally, we do get questions from our actual fan base, and we thank you for that.
If you ever want to here too.
Yeah, if you ever want to submit a question, you can do so either on our Discord, which if you ask there, I might just answer. Or in the comments of the podcast. And I'll try to remember to save those from when we do episodes like this, which is approximately once a month. Maybe a little longer, depending on how many Patreon requests we get and how we're feeling. How are you feeling? In fact, what's been crumping?
The crump has been good the last couple weeks.
Yeah?
I have started, I believe you also, but I'll leave that for your crump section. I have started watching the Twisted Metal Season 2. I'll save detailed thoughts for a possible podcast, although we never did one for Season 1.
I don't think so, no.
But I've been enjoying it to do the short version. Still playing Diablo 2, although I can feel myself dipping off of it. I don't know how much longer it'll... But I have beaten the game like 3 times since I downloaded it again, so I got lots of sauce out of it. Trying to think if there's anything else that has been like bombastic or interesting I've done in the last couple weeks. Not really. Nothing new. You?
I don't remember if I mentioned it last week or not, but you know what? If this is your first episode in a while, if you didn't want to see us play the Newlywed Game, that's your business, I guess. Maybe go back and watch that podcast. It was a pretty good one. I got back into Animal Crossing because of the update that's coming in January, so I've been dedicating some time to that. I am enjoying the new Marvel Rivals patch, and I'm trying to refine my approach to the game from a mental health standpoint. Not that it was ever that bad. I really like that game as like my chill out game.
It never got to League.
It didn't even get to Overwatch. So like it just, you know, I want to be in a better place when I'm approaching it, and I'm working on that. I watched the entirety of Season 2 of Twisted Metal. The first couple episodes are a rough sit. I liked the rest.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I'm going to get in more to that later if we do a podcast.
If I hadn't seen the first season, I probably would not have continued.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it past episode 2 if my friend hadn't told me it got better.
Yeah. I feel like there's something else I've been doing. I've been trying to get back into Warframe. Kind of hit or miss. But yeah, that's what's been crumping with me. That's what's been crumping with you. I think it's time to move into the actual podcast. Actual podcast starts at timestamp, guys. Where are you? Come back. We miss you.
I know we clowned on you, but that was a clowning of love.
No, it wasn't. Don't lie to them.
If we lie to them, they might come back and do it again.
Well, you know, it's just I've changed my mind. I'm growing as a possum. And that's possible. And if you believe growth is possible, let us know in the comments. You can also feel free to answer any of these questions if you want. Just post shit in the comments, man. That's how the algorithm robots know to show people the podcast. Anyway, we start with a question from Declan, who asks, in your opinion, what game genre do you feel has the possibility of fading away next?
Oh, like the RTS.
Or Rock Band, the rhythm game.
Well, you know, these days, as much as I do still play video games every day or every other day, there are periods in my life when I can't do that. But I'm in one of the periods where I can play video games, and I play them a lot. I'm so separate from video game zeitgeist that I don't know anymore.
I think we have reached the era where there is, well, there's two technically, but there are just two MOBAs. I think we are approaching an era where there's only going to be one Fortnite.
You think all the other Fortnites will wither on the vine next to the Titanic Fortnite?
It's just too I mean, it's too powerful. Who even talks about PUBG anymore?
That's fair, but like Call of Duty has a Fortnite, and it does fairly well.
I mean, Call of Duty has a multiplayer mode where you can play the Ninja Turtles against, I think, Beavis and Butthead, but I don't know that it's a Fortnite.
One of those, Call of Duty, Call of Battle, Duty
Well, look,
Call.
I don't know either.
One of them has a more serious arena shooter where the arena shrinks and then you end up getting the chicken dinner or whatever.
But I would say if there's anything that's on the horizon, because what changed? I listened to a podcast about adventure games. I don't mention better shit on your shit, and yet here I am. It's called Save Your Game, found on most podcasting services. And they will remark every now and then on how amazing it is that adventure games made such a comeback because of indie devs. They fell off in the late 90s.
Games were absolutely on their way to the RTS graveyard.
They vanished, all but vanished. And then with the rise of the indie game dev scene, we're getting about 50 new adventure games a year, maybe 100.
Well, because it's a fairly, I won't say easy, but it's a fairly uncomplicated thing to program. Right. It's the kind of project a guy can do on his own.
Yes.
And so I think if there's any answer to this question, it's that. It's a big project requiring a big team of people that is only financially viable if you're already winning. And
that's why I say things like MOBAs and the whatever you call a Fortnite. That you said Battle Royale.
Battle Royale.
Duh, I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, I guess a lot of games do have Battle Royale modes, but I mean like a solo Battle Royale, I don't think there's one that can compete.
I think you're right. I think League and Fortnite are effectively the 500-pound gorillas in that zone. I don't think anyone's...
I mean, people are still playing Dota, but like, it's not the same. Where's the Dota TV show?
People are still playing like everything. There's a small player base for so many games.
I think Heroes of New Earth finally left. I'll check while we answer this next question. This next question is from Lane. Have you ever had a significant other or family member walk in while an awkward or spicy scene is playing in a video game?
No.
Why not?
Well, chiefly because I was a grown-ass man before I started playing video games that have boning in them. And,
Heroes of New Earth is indeed gone, but they're working on Heroes of New Earth Reborn. It's in open beta right now. And, it looks like they're trying to do the MOBA thing again.
Best of luck to you.
Good fucking luck. The MMO is another one you can say, actually, for the previous question. Because...
if anything, I think it's gonna be the MMO.
Yeah.
For that first question.
WoW is gonna stick around.
Until their whales stop feeding them, yes.
And Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Gaze. Yeah.
Until the whales go, it will stay. But as an adult, if a family member walks in, if someone who is part of my household walks in while I'm playing a game with boning in, and I'll go, "Oh, you walked in during the boning scene, dog. I'm sorry," and then I will return to what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever in a situation where the sexy part of the video game was happening where I was not an adult or on my own, where nobody could have walked in. That's not to say I haven't had that experience. It just wasn't with a video game.
Right. I have not had to be specific, a video game problem here.
I was trying to load up some explicit pictures of topless female wrestlers on a 90s computer. They were high res.
Uh-oh.
Couldn't shut down the program quickly.
No.
The program just would not shut down. So I actually kind of like this story because my mother, outraged, asked, "What is that?" And my response was, in a panic, but still being me, smut.
I mean, look, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
What are you gonna do?
Our next question comes from either Kilborg or Kilbor. I believe this was from before they started putting the names up on screen. If it wasn't, I just didn't notice. What is the most negative video game opinion you're willing to share?
We try to be positive on this podcast.
Yeah.
So that actually is a good qualifier. I have some negative video game opinions I wouldn't share on the podcast because they're mean. They're uncharitable in a way I don't like being on this show. I like sending more positive energy out into the universe. But I'm sure I could think of something. Just nothing's coming to me in that exact range right now. Do you have anything ready?
Do I have any excruciatingly negative opinions about popular video games
That you're willing to share?
But I'm willing. I'm always, if you're ready to listen, I always have opinions. I think most of your favorite PlayStation franchises are fucking trash. God of War is fucking trash. Why would I want to play a video game about this piece of shit human being? I don't care that he gets better at the end of it. I have to deal with him the rest of the time. Also, the gameplay isn't even that good. People act like it's the greatest fucking thing since sliced bread. It's stupid. It's brain dead. It is not fun. It's a shitty beat 'em up with bad spacing and no footsies. It's fucking mash the button cutscene things. Y'all talk shit about Quantic Dream or, well, and look, listen, that guy's kind of a weirdo. I'll own up to that. But you talk shit about games like Until Dawn, where they have the squeeze the trigger cinematic events. And are those the most thrilling gameplay? No. But what the fuck do you think a God of War boss fight is, you poser? And then I have similar opinions about other things, if that wasn't enough.
I like that one. Yeah, I don't have this opinion. This is not the opinion of the 2 Nerds podcast. I don't give a shit about the God of War gameplay. I just watch them like movies. I find the cutscenes on YouTube and I watch them. I
wanted to give the benefit of the doubt. I found myself in a position where I could access my quiet place. And I do. I want to go as far away from my prejudged opinion that we all form when we see a game or whatever. And there are so many people in my life, both personally I know and like on the internet, who are like, oh no, it's one of the greatest games of all time. And so I sat down and I tried. I got a copy for free and I tried it. There was not even any investment. There was no money lost on my part. And it was stupid. It was stupid, angry trash about a bad man and his stupid son and his bad game.
I think mine might be one I've shared on the podcast already. But I will phrase it more bluntly than I did then. I think the third act of Baldur's Gate 3 might be so bad it ruins the rest of the game.
I keep trying to pick it back up.
And it stops.
And I remember
I have thought about picking it up at least 3 times to play other builds, and then I think about the last act of that game, and it's so shoddily put together, and the storylines come to such stupid conclusions. I think it might ruin the rest of the game.
Not all of them. There's some stuff they really pull off well, but like even the game design is really poorly thought out as compared to the other 2 acts in the third act. I would agree with you on that.
I don't have anything as I have opinions that are that bombastic.
I wouldn't feel that bad because I've tried so many games and gone, oh, this is terrible, and then moved on with my fucking life. But I feel like Mugatu at the end of Zoolander. Why are you telling me this is the greatest game ever? Look, I know we can have differences of opinion, but what stream are you swimming in? This actively hurts me to play. It has given me some form of herpes. But you're over there covered in herpes going, it's good.
You know what? There's another one I'll be more vague about. If you make a sequel to a beloved game and your goal in that sequel, this works for movies too, but we'll stick to games, is to alienate and piss off everyone who liked the first game, you don't get to be surprised when they're alienated and pissed off. That's you've sown and now you're reaping. That's what's happened here.
Felt good. The vitriol felt a little good. Let's move on to a question from Rainmaker Windwaker. That's a clever little name, I think.
I like it.
Was there ever a video game myth or urban legend you believed was real? And I think here in this scenario, he's talking about he or they or she or G. I don't know. Talking about things like Mew being under the truck in Pokemon or, Ermac, who eventually did become real.
He was memed into existence.
Yeah. Like many Mortal Kombat characters. See Floyd, for example.
I like that Floyd's real.
I'm so glad about Floyd.
So I can't think of one off the top of my head, but that's not because I was exceptionally canny as a child. It's more that I was just very separate from gaming culture. I grew up in a very small town, very far away from the center of popular culture, in a time before the internet was what it is now. So a lot of the big rumors and stuff just never made it to my little sleepy burg. So I don't know that I had any of those, any of the famous ones that I knew about, to know that there was a conspiracy.
I'm sure there were some that I got by. I mean, this is more of a trick, but I definitely got in games. Oh, you can fix that by hitting, was it Control W? Whatever the keyboard command to close the window is. It's been a while since I've used it. But yeah, I grew up in a smaller town, and I was highly introverted and the weird kid. So I didn't really talk to people. And also I kind of missed the boat on what was popular. So like by the time I was playing Pokemon, I was older. So like people my age weren't really playing Pokemon. And this was before it got its resurgence. So I was kind of on my own there, except for my small circle of friends, and we were old enough by that point that we didn't believe that crap. I did participate in it a lot, though. Like, I liked reading, we had, they were called sometimes, like an FAQ. They were FWAQs or FUQs. Those didn't stand for anything. Maybe FWAC did, but they were just fake. They were just bullshit. It was like, oh, you can definitely do this. And we all knew that, so we participated and made them more and more ridiculous.
You made Chuck Norris lists for video game conspiracy.
Sort of, yeah. That was fun, but I don't remember. I'm sure there was a guy I was friends with.
I remember doing that. In elementary school, my friend and I would make up conspiracies about video games. Like, if you, I forget what it was, something about getting a clown icon in Final Fantasy VII onto the disc itself in the right place. The game would load up and everyone would be like clowns or juggalos, I think was... I was a little kid.
Really good.
I mean, yeah. And we both knew this was bullshit, but we were competitive, making up the most ridiculous thing that someone else might believe, sort of thing.
So, similar era, I would have been older than you, obviously, because I'm older than you. But I had a friend was messing around with a Game Shark, and his file got all fucked up because he was messing around with a Game Shark. It happens.
Yeah,
I'm not criticizing him. Just so the name of Yuffie or Yuffie, I don't know. They fucking teach me one way and train me the other. Got changed to Eufrid, and he was convinced, this like 16-year-old fella, that her full name was Eufrid, and Yuffie was just short for it. When clearly what had happened...
broken into the Matrix.
Yeah, clearly what had happened was the game garbled the text and Red 13's name got spliced with her name, and here we are. But man, he believed that shit. And there was a guy in middle school who I was quote-unquote friends with, who I'm sure got me on a couple of those things. He was that kind of guy, and I thought he was my friend. So, I don't remember what they were, but I will cop to that. Thank you, questioner. I've deleted your question from my list already. We move on now to Tom. Tom asks, has there ever been a game that you wished ended differently? No disrespect to the vision of the developer, but like as you were playing, you were wishing for a specific story beat, but it didn't happen.
I mean, I mentioned Baldur's Gate 3 like a couple minutes ago, dog.
Honestly, with Baldur's Gate 3, for me, it's not that I really wanted some other story beat. It's just that all of the story beats they gave me, I found out in that moment I did not want.
Basically, look, there were a lot of options. It's basically, I don't want it to end. It's not that I want Baldur's Gate 3 to have ended a specific way. It's just not fucking this way.
Yeah.
The answer.
Yeah. And I'd say the same thing about Another Crab's Treasure. I really enjoyed that game, but the ending was way more dour and depressing than the rest of the game made sense for it to
set you
be.
up for.
Yeah. I didn't need like all the Reapers to turn into ice cream or anything, but it would have been nice if maybe, one did.
We are a pro Mass Effect 3's ending household in the Two Nerds podcast, but even I can posit that there may have been an end that somehow was the ending that they actually promised us and not the pick A, B, or C that they explicitly told us we would not get and then we got. I am fine with the pick A, B, or C. In fact, I have no idea how you could have done anything else. They had an impossible task, but there is a universe where they did the impossible, and I'd like to see that universe. I think that would be neat.
Actually, on stream, I could have sworn there was a walk away ending in Dark Souls 3, and I tried to do it, and there's not. So I guess
I think the only equivalent is when you turn the fire off.
Yeah. I thought you could walk away and be like, I'm not making this choice, and there was something else there. I misremembered, but
I think that's one that has that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the binary ending. You can either walk away or light the fire. But yeah, thanks for the question. We will move on now to Matt. Matt asks, what compilation would you guys like to see come out on current platforms in the vein of the TMNT Cowabunga collection? So what that is, for those of you who don't know, I don't know how.
I mean, like, I know you are TMNT man, but the TMNT Cowabunga collection is not actually a pop cultural icon that everyone knows about.
I meant more how you found our podcast and you're not aware of gaming enough to know that came out and was a big deal.
Oh, you know what? That's actually
fair. Thank you, though. Otherwise, yes, sure. It was a collection of all the NES and Super Nintendo, Genesis, and some of the arcade Ninja Turtles games that came out a year or so ago. Very cool. I've played and beaten most of it, I think. About half of it. What would... do you have an answer for that?
Could you give me the question again?
Is there like a game franchise that you would love to see them deploy as a collection, where you kind of like, or Mass Effect Legendary Edition, where it's all three? You got all the Mass Effects that matter.
I guess Dragon Age.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
For the same reason, because it has that continuity of story.
I don't know that there's a franchise I'd love to see come back that way. All of my favorites are little one-offs, and a lot of the ones that I would ask for, they happened. So I don't know. Can we get a bunch of Z-grade fighting games that nobody knows about released in a collection, like a billion fighting games for $20? I think that would sell enough to
honestly, that would be kind of fun to have.
Yeah, you wanna play some. I don't know, man. I know so many dumb fighting games, I can't think of any. It would be cool to see maybe the Gokutsuji series in a new collection, since they're not really interested.
Maybe some of the ones that never got localized.
Sure, that'd be cool. It would probably be a fighting game thing. Like I said, Mega Man. Well, they had that actually before the Cowabunga collection, so what does it matter? Maybe Golden Axe would be pretty cool, but that might already exist too. All right, man. The Titan Minimalist, not just the Minimalist, the Titan of Minimalists, which is sort of, it seems like an oxymoron to me. But anyway, which video game demo resonated with you the most? What an interesting question to a throwback era.
Hilariously, it's a game I never then played.
Nice.
Because time missed me, but I must have played the Toomba demo.
Oh, good old Toomba.
10 or 12 times to completion, and then a bunch of just like trying it, starting it and playing it for a little while in between other things. I had like these couple demo discs as a kid, and I don't know if it's been made super clear to you people. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. So I would play all the demos on those discs, and they were all super cool. I think I got into the Armored Core games through a demo on that disc also, but I actually did then play an Armored Core game. But Toomba, it really seemed like a fun, neat game that I liked the mechanics of, but then I didn't have the real game. And then time moves ever forward and never stops, so I missed it. I don't really know that I'd want to play it now, but that was a fun memory.
I don't know. So the demo disc was either a PC or a PlayStation thing. And I missed that era of gaming. Okay? I had N64.
My demo disc was for the PlayStation specifically, so you're right about that.
Yeah. So I did eventually get a PlayStation, but it was almost at the very end of its life cycle. So I didn't have a lot in the way of demo discs. I'm sure I fired up one or two at some point, but it just wasn't a thing for me. And same with PC. I never had a machine strong enough. I was still using Windows 3.x for a lot longer than you might think. So I kind of missed that jump of experiences. So mine, I think, is going to be more recent and unfortunately ends in tragedy because it was probably Metaphor ReFantasio. I played a little bit of that demo and was really blown away and excited to play the rest of that game.
Ooh, that didn't work out well.
No, it was something like 60 hours of me getting kicked in the nuts and hoping that the next kick was not going to be in my nuts, but every time it was in my nuts. And then I just stopped. And I watched the ending online, and it made me tired. Archie, we move on to now, who asks, what do you think are the elements that make a horror game scary or creepy? Archie, what an interesting question. We actually did a full podcast on this years ago. I believe it's still up on the channel. It would have been within our first couple of years. You can go find that if you want, but we can do a brief version of it now. I'm a big baby bitch, so yeah, basically anything. But really, the true answer is atmosphere.
Atmosphere, loss of agency. And that's tricky because if you do that too much, the game is not great. Is not fun.
Right, I would agree with that.
But loss of agency, loss of I don't think power is the right word, but loss of effectiveness. Feeling like you have to choose something other than fighting, whatever it is. The Silent Hill games do that really well, where fighting may be an option, but that's probably not a good option. And sound design.
Sure, sound design's a good one. I don't play a lot of horror games anymore, just because I don't really like being startled. I did beat Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think what made those games work especially, and what can be carried over into other games, is the impending nature of it. You know exactly what's coming, but they scale it in a way that you preventing ultimately what is a stupid thing. It's a cute cartoon robot that jumps in your face and goes, ah! The pressure that you know is staving off this jump scare.
Dread.
The dread, yes. And I think that is also, when I was saying atmosphere, that's what I talk about in other games, is, I just watched the Grumps playthrough of Until Dawn. Is Until Dawn inherently a scary game? Not really, but they do...
No, if you're not bought in, it's extremely goofy.
But it's the buying in that is what gets you, and it's leaving you to wander around a dark environment with only a flashlight and nothing to defend yourself with. And that's pretty scary. I think PT is probably the ultimate in horror. Talking about demos, but I never played it, that leave an impression on you. I wish they had managed to realize that.
I just wish, it was available.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I wish it itself is a good game.
Yeah, short, but good. All right, let's get one more question in here. John asks, which type of content do you appreciate more? Well-made DLC that capitalizes on a really good game, or would you rather they save it all for a sequel?
Ooh, that's actually hard to say, because in an earlier era, an earlier version of me would definitely say sequel. For a lot of reasons. Earlier me was much madder about DLC, and all that sort of thing, but but today, I think of it more like a good DLC is a lot like an expansion pack back in the day. And sequels take a long fucking time.
They can, yeah, especially modern day sequels, yeah.
So, sometimes it might be better to have them give you, not if it's shit they already made that they just held back. I don't like that. That's scummy.
No, yeah, that is scummy.
But if it might be better if they're working on something more for the game that they made, it might be better for them to give it to you now, and you pay them now so that you can experience the art, than to wait an indeterminate and perhaps eternal time for a sequel which may never arrive.
Sure. We've moved into, publicly, this has happened in the past, obviously, we just didn't know about it, but it's very public when games that people were working on just got shut down, and who knows how close they were to completion.
As an example, we're never getting a sequel to Baldur's Gate 3. We might,
but it won't be by Larian.
Yeah, we won't. We might get another Baldur's Gate game, but we're not getting another Larian Studios Baldur's Gate 3 and Baldur's Gate 4. And we're not getting anything. So if there was something they were working on, it's gone now.
Yeah. Well, they released most of the stuff they were working on as free.
That's the exact thing I was going to say, is they chose to make it, downloadable content. In this case, free, but I'd have paid for some of that.
Sure, certainly. I think a lot of the vitriol against DLC originally formed in vitriol against toxic DLC practices. You mentioned stuff that was already done that they just decided to hold off on to charge us extra for. Yeah, obviously that's scummy. People used to complain a lot about, oh, this information's already on disk, I shouldn't have to pay for it. That sometimes can be scummy. Sometimes that stuff on the disk is not finished.
And what you're paying for is the effort and labor it took to... Because here's a fun fact. All the video games you ever played, a human, several humans most likely, had to put in, work days, many of them, to make that happen.
I don't know why so many people, and I mean the vast majority of the population who posts on the internet, got it in their heads that you can just bang out a video game or a part of a video game in a couple of days or a month. I don't know where they picked that up. But when people are talking about that kind of stuff, that's the first thing. Oh, what would this take, an hour to do? No, fool. You do it. Tell me how long it takes.
And that's the reason they haven't, is they don't do it.
Sure.
And so for a lot of people, computers passed the Clark barrier years ago. Computers are magic to many people. They don't understand them. They don't know how they work. They don't care to know how they work. The magic square in their hand just does stuff.
Right.
So they don't actually cognize that, people had to type all the numbers in to make the game go.
Yeah.
And look, in the future, vibe coding means that might not always be true. But up until the point I'm talking at, for basically all the games you ever loved, a bunch of people worked really fucking hard, probably 2 long hours, probably with not enough breaks, to make that game happen. So I would rather get their art than maybe their game studio shuts down and I never see it.
And in that vein as well, DLC is usually, almost entirely, cheaper than the whole full original game. Especially in the modern era when we have things like Shadow of the Erd Tree. That's another game. It's not as big as Elden Ring.
Shadow of the Erd Tree is an expansion pack.
Yeah, it's one of the first console video game style expansion packs, because when you say expansion packs, that's usually the realm of a PC game. Traditionally. Especially because consoles didn't have DLC until, I don't know, Xbox, but
betraying my PC
2,
gamer
3.
origins.
Sure. So while that was, common enough for them, we didn't get much in the way of DLC. The early DLC was horse armor or more songs in Guitar Hero 3. It wasn't, additional quests, even in the vein of some of the stuff that comes in Mass Effect, or, extra characters to play or what have you. But as I was saying, and to what you were saying, if we hadn't had Elden Ring, I think people would have been pretty satisfied with Shadow of the Erd Tree as Dark Souls 4, as it were, as the next FromSoft game.
It's about as big as a Dark Souls.
It's a big game. A precedent has been set, but,
No, you're about right. Shadow of the Erd Tree is about as big as Dark Souls 3.
And it was only $40 compared to the 60 or 70, whatever Elden Ring ended up costing. One thing I will say, I am tired of people trying to trick me into buying an art book I'm never going to look at for 10 extra
stop
dollars.
that shit. I don't want your collector's edition that is this. All right, I've unlocked the chakras on the real negative gaming opinion. I don't want your fucking collector's edition that is art books and digital soundtrack. Your soundtrack's on Spotify, dog. Your art book is on Twitter and Instagram. Stop trying to make me pay for that. It's just not the game.
Would I want an art book physically, the pre-order bonus style that we used to have?
Yeah, that'd
absolutely.
be great.
That sounds great.
That's a thing. That's a cool conversation. There's an Alduin on my fucking shelf from the Skyrim launch. I love that motherfucker. I love that Alduin.
But I don't want your PNGs. I don't. And don't tell me your deluxe upgrade. Oh, the deluxe upgrade is only $5 more. Well, that's pretty cool. What's in it? Oh, nothing. It's nothing.
Here's some appreciation digital tat, some PNGs for paying us $5 more. Stop that.
Or usually $10 more. I'm thinking sale prices here. So, yeah, that's goofy. I don't want. That's bad DLC. That's not really even.
Stop horse armor.
Yeah.
You know what? No, horse armor's better.
Horse armor's better.
That is in the game.
If I got the champion edition of your game or whatever the fuck it's called, and I got some horse armor with it.
You know what? That's actually worth.
Bad.
That's worth. That's in the game.
I don't know that I would.
No,
but
the mad bastards at Bethesda actually did sell horse armor again.
No, they had other stuff too.
I can't hate. They're allowed.
Yeah, they have all people. Robot, do you have anything to close out our show with today?
I really like stealing other people's mail.